in Stuart Castle, Duncan's Trelawney, Jamaica. We broadcast point 7 locally and is heard on fitfmja.com. Our mission is to amplify diverse voices and opinions, inform, educate, entertain, and listeners of all ages and lifestyle while promoting responsibility development. Fit FM is point 7 life, your music.
Blessings and light. This is Aymara, the musical revolutionary. You're an host on the community buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. This and every Monday at 3 p.m. From the home to the community to the wider world. Let us be the change we want to see. Join me this and every Monday at 3 p.m. on the community buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. Fit mind, fit body, fit community, fit world. This is Aymara, the musical revolutionary on the community buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body, the service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race.
Are the builders of the pyramids. We are the builders of the stone cities of Zimbabwe. We build them White House. We build them factories. With blood, with sweat, with tears. With flesh, with bones. Them use build them economy. Now them want come con you and me. With them science and them technology. We make them take with knowledge. Now them are deafly. Them are blindly. We are walk, we are ride, we are drive, we are fly. Nah look, nah see. Eyes focus on the screen of an iPhone, Galaxy, tablet, Blackberry. Wake up, look, look. Uno no sister them are very well. Ancestors crying out. Them are weak, you see we heading back to slavery. Robotic, digital, technological slavery. The rich take them session, call it recession, left the world in depression. Yes, this is Aymara. This is the community buzz, the community buzz, the community buzz, the community buzz. And this is what? April 3rd, 2023. Right? We're here again on a sunny Monday afternoon here in Jamaica. The sky is blue. Yeah? The ocean blue, you know, and we see everything through our lens at this moment in Jamaica. We see some of the places them look dry and, you know, burn driving through the hills of St. Ann coming down, you know, through Cave Valleys and all of those places coming on, I mean, from Clarendon and just a while ago. And so we stay, you know, we keep moving, you know what I mean? And we give thanks for the energy, we give thanks for the vibration. It was one of them cool out weekend there in a cool Clarendon. You know, no matter how the sun hot, you see when it come down to about 5:30, you better go try
I find something put on up in the hills of Alston, Manchester, Christiana, Spalding. Very cool, you know. I'm going through Cave Valley. The valley is cool. Yeah, so we give thanks that we are here on the Community Buzz another Monday, you know. Social is always a part of our life, you know. We commentate on things that is happening, you know, to see how we can sort out ourselves, because we have to have that dialogue. And this is a place that we have constructive dialogue, you know, to make sure that we be better people, you know, we serve our community better, more effective. And that is what we are here for every Monday, 3 to 5 p.m., right? And we are broadcasting on Fit FM 96.7 and www.fitfmja.com. We're also simulcasting on www.primal4k.com. And it's an interactive program. See? So I'm saying to the people, you can call 876-478-9144. That's the number that we're working with today. 847-891-44 on the Community Buzz, you know, waiting, you know, to have a discussion with Mr. Patrick Beckford. And today we are going to talk about constitutional reform. You know, we need to dig deep into that if we did really have anything for reform, because really and truly, we Jamaicans or the African never really create any constitution. You know, we get an order from the crown and say, this is your constitution. These are some rules and some acts, you know, that you must abide by. And we, the crown, who are still your masters, are in charge of your government. That's the reality. Whether we love it, yes or no, that's the fact right there. And we must rise to the occasion and see how much we can determine what we want to be and what is it we are going to put in place to govern us, and how are we going to govern us. And that is the mission that we are on, you know. So on Community Buzz, we have this kind of discussion, you know. It's a program that deal with community issues, not just local community, but also international community. We see a whole heap of things going on Jamaica. We see the problem with the beaches still. We understand that a prominent son of Jamaica, you know, who is, his father is a reggae legend, you know, tried to enter some villa here, and he was frankly told that no Jamaican is welcome here, you know. So these are some things that is happening here in Jamaica recently. We see where the police and the soldier them go around a White River and tell the guys them we are do them rafting, they say if leave the area, you know, pack up and leave. You understand? Now we have to look upon them things they serious. Who are the ones who giving the orders for these things to happen? Who the police and the soldiers them who are ordinary Jamaican like us taking orders from? You understand? And that's why we say the Constitution is an order. We hear some term used all the while and we not pay attention. Private-public partnership. We must observe these narratives, you know, we must observe these languages, you know, or these language. Because private-public partnership is a partnership. But with the public, they're not a partnership. You know, where are us, the public partnership? We see them use the same term, private-public partnership. You know, so are here in Jamaica that is in control of everything, and the public is at a disadvantage to those few who are in control. More and for big up my sister, my big sister, Valerie Dixon. You know, it was a powerful program last week, you know, and we see it even continue to segue into what we are going to talk about today, because there's a set of people who are still in control of land, sea, and maybe here in Jamaica. Seeing, even the road we drive on, you understand? We see so much of them a build and a expand, and when you take a stock, we don't own them. We have to pay for drive on them. You understand? So we have to look into these things, you know. When we say citizens, what citizens really mean? We are citizens of Jamaica, you know, what it really mean to us, you know. Are we sovereign people, or are we just subjects to some other people who decide, say, they are all, you know? And if we sit back and allow some people to define who we are in problem. And remember, they once defined us as their properties. Our ancestors were seen as their properties, and they continue to think that way because, you know, one time I have a sister, see, I go give you a joke. I have a sister, and the sister did have an abusive man, a beat her and deal with her somewhere. But you know, when it get wicked, when the man said to her, say, I'm a thing for you, you can't think for yourself. Yes, that was dangerous. Me have to tell her, say, sister, you better get up and run because this serious. When a man go tell you, say, you can't think for yourself, and him have to think for you, you know, that dangerous. Now, look into the argument, the serious, you know. Because Mr. Jamaica run the way. They would come like those who in Jamaica claim that they are leaders. They're not the thinkers who are making things happen in Jamaica. They are taking orders. So somebody I tell them, say, you know, say, you can't think for yourself. And me I think for how you operate and run things at Jamaica, you know. So if we are going to sit back and allow the non-thinkers, you know, to operate upon a certain level, and we continue to subjugate ourselves under those who just regurgitate what their masters tell them, then we are in serious problem. We are in serious problem. And I know, say, those of us who try to think for ourselves becomes them criminalize us, then we all call we terrorists and rebel and revolutionists. And I'm neither than want to put the ones you believe, say, you know, say, me need to think for myself and me not go follow the orders where some other people set for it. See? So these are some things, you know, that we want to dig deep into and continue with our conversation or dialogue. And not just conversation, but, you know, put things in action, you know what I mean? And day by day, we hold them vibes out with the brethren them. I want to big up my brethren, Pablo, big up Malcolm and Jackie and Swaby. Friday evening, we have some deep reasoning run by Pablo's place. And that was a great vibes, and he eat some great food and exotic food there. Pablo, you're one great youth, you know, ordinary. Bless up yourself, Swaby. You give enough joke around there, so Malcolm and Jackie, you know. Bev Moonchild, you did dead too, so we can't let you out, you know. So, well, and the next brethren, there was an ex-brethren who Saturday with me, you know. Some people here use that term, the SATA. We don't know if you understand the Jamaica talk. When we say SATA, it means, you know, with a city in a whole of vibration. Yeah, so it was a good vibes Friday evening. And we look for some great things to happen because we have to interact on the community level that our people start to understand that whole communal vibration, because that's how we're born, you know, and that's how we grew up, you know. We are community people. We can't keep ourselves separated from each other, even though them kind of become social distance, but you know what, we're still there, you know. I will that kind of vibration and communicate, you know, with each other. People them all around, you know what I mean? Spicy Hill, you know, Stuart Castle here, you know, Duncans. We pick up all communities, so many of them to call, you know. They may have to just come with a long list one day and just call them out, you know. But all of the communities, them, you know, who tune into Fit FM, local and international community. We're still there. We're still there on the community buzz. We have a bounce piece of music. I don't know what the selector. Here we are going to break down the barriers right now.
Yeah, man, I know. Edman, turn it on, you know, keep on. Get everything.
Can we do, my brothers? How we gonna get your pay? Straight, and I don't know what I gotta say. Break down the barriers, break down the fences. Too much people in the trenches. Break down the fences, leave the people from out the trenches. Break the barriers and the fences. Too much people living in the trenches. Break down the barriers, break down the fences, leave
13 minutes now.
the trenches. Ooh, yeah.
I can't turn after that, Edman.
No more segregation. We've got to stop this division by politics and religion. We've got to develop a plan now. Rise and stand up now. We won't be no clown no more. We've got to break down the doors, cause we can't take it no more. Break down the barriers, break down the fences. Too much people living in the trenches. Break down the barriers, break down the fences. Leave the people from out the trenches. Break down the barriers, break down the fences. Too much people living in the trenches. Break down the barriers, break fences. Leave the people from out the trenches. Ooh, yeah. Open doors still not welcome. People seeking to find some wisdom. Come working hard to gain an income. Your children dying anyway. What can we do, brother? How we gonna get her paid? See where the youth's going astray, and I don't know what to do. I'm gonna say.
Break down the barriers, break down the fences. Too much people living in the. I'm telling you, we are going to break down the barriers and the fences and lift the people from out the trenches. Yes, truly, I'm Mara. Online, we have the great Patrick Beckford, you know what I mean, a man from Chilani, and we are going to talk about constitutional reform. It is something that is on his chest. And this evening, as me have a virgin name, but Wagi was say, we have a bell shaft summer hit this evening or this afternoon. So we will give Mr. Patrick Beckford some space and some time for bell shaft within them chest, you know, that the people them can understand the whole aspect of a constitutional reform. But before I go in for you, I'm going to have maybe a whole copy of the Constitution. I don't need for an updated version. I maybe go to the library and sit in and, you know, update myself. But I'm going to read something, Mr. At the court at Buckingham Palace, the 23rd day of July, 1962. Present, the Queen's most excellent Majesty in Council, Her Majesty, by virtue and in her exercise of the powers in that behalf, by subsection 1 of section 5 of the West Indies Act 1962, otherwise in her vested, is pleased by and with the advice of her Privy Council to order, and it is hereby ordered as follows. 1. This order may be cited as the Jamaica Constitution, Order in Council 1962. Pay attention to the word order. And it goes on. Subsection to the provisions of subsection 2 of section 3 of this order shall come into operation immediately before the appointed day in the order referred to as the commencement of this order. One stop right there, so. Mr. Beckford, is there a May I have the first question before me? First of all, let me allow you to introduce yourself. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing good.
You're good?
Yeah, man, I'm good. You know, yes, some people on your station like to mouth off in the morning, so the weather is like that today. But you know,
Yeah.
I like the first part I read about the Constitution. But let me say for anyone, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just an ordinary person who study history and read about governments and everything. And as civics, me learn how to get interested in my country from growing up. Civics for Young Jamaica. So we take that to another level. So I'm good, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right.
So you
what
want
is
me
it you want for trash out?
What
you want to trash out about?
Yeah,
hold on. I'm going to ask you again. What is it? Tell me because I want. So I'm saying, what is it you want to trash out this afternoon about this constitution or this order? Because it is not a constitution that is designed by us, but as I read a while ago, it is something that was ordered by in that time.
Yes.
So what is it we want to talk about? The reformation of this constitution or something developed new?
Wait. Your opening and your query about it is what really we need to talk about as a country, because at that time when it was done with all good intentions, in a lot of ways, it was done by a set of people who thought they knew everything best for the country. At that time in 1958, when this movement started after the Federation, it looked like it wasn't going to work, and Jamaica decided they wanted to be independent. So Premier Norman Manley then, included the then opposition leader, Bustamante, and said, okay, let's form a joint constitution committee to look at independence and do that. And that, that is so the order was done by the Privy Council. We, the people, then had no say as to what is written in the Constitution. So now we leap forward to 2023, almost 61 years after our independence. We have somebody now who is called the Prime Minister of Jamaica, by himself as a government, which is their right in a way, to say, okay, here's what we want to discuss and work out. Appoint a chairman. It was not done so in 1971. It was a collaborative thing between both parties because no party was elected God of Jamaica. So this is an issue that I have. So, and the thing that bothers me most is that there are 6 million Jamaicans at home and in the diaspora. 6 million of us. A lot of us, half of us are overseas traveled. We have your ambassador there from the US who is a born Jamaican. You have the vice president who has Jamaican heritage. You have a lot of people who are in law, in community building, in all sectors, internationally and locally. Yet you're going to give a minister and then tell the opposition, says, okay, we're going to open this committee and add 2 people. That is not what I think should be done. And that is what, I'm so annoyed about, that these people now, as you're worried about, my brother, will be setting up the Constitution for the elite, because this is an elitist thing. They're going to set it up and put things in there what will suit them. That's something that maybe they're going to set up, that maybe this present government is entrenched and it's so hard to remove them or whatever? We don't know, but we the people. And so I've already been thinking about it for the buzz when the Prime Minister mentioned that Lightning was sworn in is going to do X, Y, Z. I started to think about it. What would the what would be my Jamaica that I'd love to see a constitution that is people-centric. So in other words, all of us, most of us in the country are very, very well read and can really come up and organize things. So I think the best way to organize anything in terms of the constitution and its type of government is coming up from the bottom up. And so when we the people said, this is what we want, you maybe want to tinker with stuff and everything, but the majority of it, or the whole basis of it, should be something that is coming up from we the people, from the man up a wire fence, a plant yam, to the man in a Jamaica house, or the courts, are run the court and the top. But we the people should be doing it, and so it's an opportune time for us to fix, because there's a lot of things that needs to be fixed in the constitution in Jamaica. So here's my idea, and I just talk about what I think would be a way. Rather than have politicians, we have a lot of eminent jurists in Jamaica. I think there's a number of retired chief justice in Jamaica. A way that I think, from my little brain, I call a barrack school in a Falmouth, I'm thinking we have 3 counties in Jamaica, Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey. So what I'm thinking is that we should appoint 3 subcommittees, one for Cornwall, one for Surrey, one for Middlesex, headed by a retired chief justice, or whatever the jurists want, no politicians. And then we start to take submissions.
Why? Hold on. Mr. Beckford, I break you right there, so. You say by some chief justice. The reason I ask you why, right? Because all of these minds, you are thinking now, you're a thinker, but all of those minds are trained by the system. They are, if you study certain things pertaining to even these chief justice people who are part of the Privy Council, of Her Majesty Privy Council. And we must always remember that privy means private council, So private council would then sit in privacy, and then them organize what is best for the rest of us. I was just talking about, abusive man who tell him what him human say. You can't think for yourself, I will think for you, right? So when I look at the word with the constitution as yet, we're looking at an order from our colonial masters that we are looking upon, and those what you call chief justice work under those orders. So I am saying a people constitution have to come from the people, you know what I mean? And the people must be the one who are thinking out their lives, just like you thinking there now. And they should come to the people and let the people say what is it, the instrument that they want to govern themselves. So I'm asking why we have to go to the same justice people who never serve well, because them retire and nothing never happened while they were in the seat. So why we are going to go to the people and retire and never do nothing for way, to do something for way?
I hear you with that, but here's my rationale about it. These guys, they're not going to be the ones writing anything. These guys will just be chairpersons or sub-chairmans of committee conducting meeting based on what, and taking the information, because they're going to have stenography and all that stuff, take the information, the submissions by we the people. But for other purpose into managing the submissions or the meeting, why I say that, because these guys have been managing courts, so to speak, maybe you could find somebody else. But I figured more or less a jurist who has operated and run courts and all that stuff would be able to manage a meeting, a forum of that magnitude with taking the submissions, making, they're not going to write anything. They're just going to be there presiding. and taking the information from like Amara, from Bev Moonchild, from Dr. Asher, from Patrick, from Gart or whoever within the community who will be coming up to make their presentation and maybe on one sector or holistically, and these are the things. So that's what I'm looking at, and then probably because they have the professional experience. I understand their issue, you know, and I agree with you that, you know, they have not in a lot of ways, you know, used up their thing. They were more into the laws and everything, but that's the reason why. Not that they will be writing, but they will be the ones who will be presiding and then compiling together what we, the people, present to now present it to the government. Say, this is what we want. You know, set up the referendum, and we, the people, will decide it. Because if you get two different strong submissions, then we, the people, they could say, okay, we put it together. This is what it is. Mix and mash it. But, you know, that's what you got that? So is that with
no, me still Alice. No. When you say preside, you know, you see, I am looking on that word that
right.
preside over. You understand? Because when in 1958 and when Norman Manley and Carlo Buster and all of them, it was the same thing that they were doing, you know, to preside over what they would like to see happen in Jamaica. They were Norman Manley was a Queen's Counsel, right, at that time, right? Or, you know, so doing all of that, and we see say them come give us something where our colonial masters give the order. These were brilliant minds, you know, who sat there and they brought back this and gave the Jamaica people the constitution, a constitution that is governed by the monarchy, our slave masters, right? So I am saying, all those who are trained by that institution, right, until they decolonize their mind, why should we look to those who are still of a colonized mind to preside over anything that will bring us fundamental liberty or to bring us any form of change? Because they don't themselves.
I hear you.
Observe is that
I hear you on that, and
Yeah.
my thing is Amara, is that I think whether Chief Justice, and maybe I use Chief Justice really, or whether three different people who maybe people have confidence in that they're not going to come with their colonialistic mind would be all right. But the whole sense of the Chief Justice or jurist that I said is because in my mind, there are people who do this on a date or did this on a day-to-day basis. So my thing is that is the issue of that, to me, that can be, if they go with what we're saying and discussing and other people say, then we could get the relevant folks to preside and conduct the meeting. That not what whoever is presiding, it's not that they're going to say, I want this, that, and yeah. It's that the people are going to make the submissions to them and say, this is how we for example, this is this system of governance we want. We don't want no more ceremonial head of state, for example, which we come to later. Or we don't want, we want an impeachment clause. This is the reason why all these things must be written and presented maybe from the Cornwall submission, then the Middlesex, and everybody sit down, do it, present it to the government. If they come up there and says, okay, based on the presentation, there are two distinct system of governance we see, which includes, then the people will now make the decision and says, okay, they like this one versus that, but everything will be coming from we the people. not written, not the my man, I'm gonna say, boy, me a chairman, I know right what me want inside here. That would be a no-no. It's just gonna be a general submission from everybody. You know, the other point to it is that if we accept to go in that way, then what I'm saying is that because the whole system, when you read, like I always go back to civics for young Jamaica, you have passive and active citizens. Now in Jamaica, we have more passive people than anything, because something like this, I think like those who, like of us who are church people, the ministers should be talking about that, because you can't preach to people who are being subverted socially, physically. You know, like I was here, I heard you talking earlier about the Zoso and Soso and the whole issue of the state of emergency that is enacted. I mean, people's civil liberty are being entrenched upon by the government. Nobody is saying anything. You know, we have a plethora of what you call it, all this fraud that is going on by people in government.
Before you move to that point, you said something earlier pertaining to how our people are. Just reflect, because we can these things them so possible. What could have been the cause for Jamaican and the people out there to understand? What could be the cause for our people be so passive?
One of the things is, from what I'm
can you pinpoint any cause?
Yeah, there's one thing. A lot of thing is that I think, for example, and I go back to the state of emergency, where the state of emergency was enacted, and when we look, and we were talking about this the other day, the state of emergency.
No, Mr. Bedford,
no, I'm just saying that.
Patrick,
yeah.
Before you go to the state of emergency. Okay. Yeah, so I'm asking the question, what could you identify something, one of the main things, because even before the state of emergency, our states of emergency, we are talking how people become docile, passive. I mean, ask, why if you have a little time, why you believe so people so passive and want, you know, step out to organize things for themselves and to put things in place for themselves that will work in their interest. Why?
I think one thing is fear, and let me explain what I mean by fear. Fear, because of the way the system is. When I was growing up, we were fearless when we were advocating for Falmouth and Trelawney. But what people are fearful of, that somebody from the machinery is going to attack them, whether physically, or fear that if they speak their mind, that, for example, boy, him can't get to eat a food because contract or Jack for a man say, boy, you badmouth me, and all that stuff. And fear because they're contented, they're contented selfishly. And a lot of these people, I mean, a lot of my people said, and everybody says, oh yeah, but your country, your birth country is a Christian country. But they're not acting as a Christians, because they only two laws or two commandments Jesus, who them name the religion author, spoke about, you know. God, love God, and who? Your neighbor as yourself. So you not worried about your neighbor because you're contented, you get your big belly and you eat and you get invited to the cocktail and you blah, 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 and everything, and you go out and you listen and you yeah, and you dress up in your suit and everything. So that selfishness is what I think is entrenched in the new Jamaica, where everybody I go to school, get them degree and all and stuff, and everybody, you know, want them.
So where it come from? Because, you know, just, Mr. Beckford, I am saying, where that come from? Because, you know, just come up, so, you know, you know, just spring up and we like that, you know. Because you just talk about, there was a time, when you and others were more, you know, vocal. We remember in the 30s, before, you know, we win what we call universal adult suffrage, right? The workers' movement, that workers were out there organizing and putting pressure on the colonial system. Now we see that kind of vibrancy leading up to the 80s, but coming on into the 90s, we realize that there is a serious change in the mindset of our people. I'm asking you, what could have caused all of that? And what is it we need to do to reawaken the minds of our people?
Here's what I'm gonna be say, maybe I'm guilty of it. But here's one other thing: it's the materialism, and then the wave after the 80s of the immigration, where the barrel mentality comes in and captures. So everybody buy him now for them because I them a wait for barrel come, or them a wait for get a green card or for go abroad. So nobody cares about Queen Street or Duke Street or Stuart Castle or Dumfries or anything, and as a community. So everybody become individualistic. You look even in sports. When I was growing up, I'm surprised people are being paid money to do sports. I mean, granted, you know, hey, you know, it's sort of world running. But then also, I think with the opening up of the information freeway, which is the internet, where everybody doing everything and everybody want to buy. The biggest thing is America, where I live, because everybody want to live and act like the first world country. You know, so, you know, it's like, you know, what I go to place and people say Jamaica have a champagne taste, but a white rum pocket them have. You understand? So what I'm just saying, I think that is where the breakdown starts, because even up into the 70s, where you and I grew up in Aymara, a different stuff was happening. We work in communities. I remember in high school, we had representative from the high school on the board. And we have to take, and we have a council meeting. He has to take what we say, take it to the board, present it. We had everybody entrenched, but nowadays, as you see with this committee that they form, is certain people man pick and say, boy, I want to make the thing running and everything. You understand? So the community got disengaged because of materialism, in my opinion, both in every sector, whether the preachers, whether the teachers, everything became more individualistic. And so until we start to talk to people, and I blame my brothers and sisters here in the diaspora for contributing to that. So
now you're there to talk about constitution. We are here to talk about the constitutional reform. That is one of the things we want to talk about. Now, how many people, the ordinary man, ever really, I mean, good in your circle, who really have a copy of the Constitution, who understand the language of the Constitution, what kind of role them can play in reforming something that they never see, they never read, and they have no knowledge or legal, you know, how to, you know, peruse this, what need to take out and what need to go in. How can we have what we call constitutional reform with the participation of the public, when the public, most of the people, don't really understand the language?
Exactly,
you know, in this piece of document.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing what I say. And this morning, I was traveling, and then I was reading, you know, get up before I leave, I was reading the Jamaican news. And I saw where the government is going to spend $70 million to improve airports, right? Airports where we don't even run. Most of the profit don't stay to Jamaica. That's a sidebar. But here's what I think. The government should take whatever portion of that money is needed to print pocket-size books of the Constitution, so everybody who wants it can now get it and says, okay, we're going to be discussing the Constitution. So here's what we're discussing, Mr. John Brown. When you're there at the rum bar and all this, somebody might come up with some argument. Well, I'm going to read this, the Constitution. Because we as Jamaicans, we like to argue, especially in pockets, whether we are the roadside or seaside or the rum bar or after choir meeting or whatever, at churches or whatever. We like to read. So that is an investment that I think they need to give to the people so they know the Constitution. Why they don't want the people to know about the Constitution? Because all this state of emergency and the ZOSO and something, people would have said, no, it don't make sense, and the sites to go. But where the people are, that's why in 72 we start Jamal. But they look like we revert, to all that because we need a Jamalization, if we make that word, of our Constitution, where now the ordinary man with equipped, and then
that's a good idea.
Yeah, and I think that's how we can move forward.
Hold on. Yeah, that's a great idea, because I was about to read something. When you read them, some of the language in this, or most of the language, and it is from a legal term, right? Mm-hmm. So even when people look on the word "art," let's see how then find the word "art," understand what that really means. You understand?
Yeah.
As me read something from a law dictionary. See? Mm-hmm. Command, direction, or instruction. This is from a legal dictionary, a law dictionary. I show you that. A written direction or command delivered by a government official, judge. The word generally embraces final decrees as well as interlocutory directions or commands. Right? So the whole thing of commanding, and this is what, when you read the first part of this Constitution, and nothing to do with all things, our original thing, when we talk about the original laws that we live by, was the principle of art. Laws before that, but the people made the decision that they will not offend or hurt anybody. You take on that responsibility. You take on responsibility that you will be just to yourself and others. Now them change that and then command and create command people who are operating like God's earth, and they're commanding their subjects to follow orders. Follow the orders that is given by those in power. And that is why it says the advice of our privy council to order, and it is hereby ordered as follow. Right? And if we go back now, we see the power we then give to a figurehead, which you call the Governor General. See? Provided that whereby or under this order, the Governor General has power to make any appointment or to make any order as to do any other thing for the purposes of this order. That power may be exercised by the Governor General of the colony of Jamaica at any time after the 24th of July, 1962, to such extent as may, in the opinion, be necessary or expedient to enable the Constitution established by this order to function as for the commencement of the order. So I know we don't hear nothing about it. What we hear constantly through this thing is an order.
Right. And the other is gonna be the order on us. You understand? Based on his mandate.
Yeah, and when you look on the definition of order, you know, he's somebody commanding these little subjects how to behave and how to apply.
Exactly.
We're talking about constitutional reform. We are using this pretty sitting in a parliament down there and decide again what is best for those non-thinkers who should not think the ability to think. We are going to give them something and they must just follow these rules and these regulations. You understand?
Exactly.
So how we are going to broaden, how are we going to broaden discussion?
So here we have the two steps. We agree we are you brought up an important point about the presiding people for each county. But the other point that I think what we need to do, and the second point is that the government needs to equip those who need a pocket book, a pocket holder of all the constitutions written in a nice pocket carry document, so everybody can see it. The second part is that now we the people, whether the church, whether the PTAs, whether the all the different sectors in the thing need now, and we need leaders, and we need, for example, in Trelawney. We talk about Trelawney, Jamaica in general. We need the counselors or the aspirants, whether they want to run for MP or anything, to now start to organize the people and say, no, before we even think about vote for me, let's start look at the Constitution, because that is what you think. You take down and you help them, and you probably work with that group, gather together, make a submission with a group or as a body, whether the PTA, whether the churches, get a body. I preach a sermon in Michigan. Title of the sermon, it says, look beyond your stained glass windows for your ministry. And that is what the problem is. Our ministers are locked in the stained glass thing and preach. They don't even know when the church sister come with our 3 hungry belly picnic and our stomach can make whole heap of noise. They not hear about Jesus with the belly and make so much noise. You understand? So we have to feed the people knowledge-wise, physically, spiritually, so that you go back to Acts 2 when Paul anointed everybody. Says some are elders, some are deacon, some are to help the sick, some are to help. We all have to do that together to form this one body. So if we start to say to the aspirants for counselor, the aspirants for Chamber of Commerce, the ministers, those who want to say, let's form group. You look on this section, we look on this section, we come together and we make a presentation, because God help us if these people who even I won't even talk about the chairperson, because that's our personal experience with whoever I say will be the chairperson.
Who is the chairperson?
What some minister of constitution or whatever, Malahoo Fort, she was the chairperson for the Jamaica Diaspora Advisory Board when I was a representative for the Northeast USA. The Northeast USA, Florida, Canada, California, and UK was so disappointed with her style of leadership. She come with an autocratic way, and to me, not disparaging her, I'm going to say from history, because I read about her, and she was one of the first and maybe the only resident magistrate who was recommended to be a puisne judge that the Jamaica Bar Association said not fit enough. So if your colleagues here say not fit enough for a promotion, how you going to handle this thing of the Constitution for 6 million people? You understand? And so in the diaspora, for example, we'll take it back because we are a big part of the thing. And a lot of my folks are saying, oh yeah, we could put it in where we become voters and we can run for MP. Me disagree with that. And a lot of us disagree with that part. But that's for debate. And we get everybody involved. We get the policemen involved. We get every sector of society involved in forming groups, and then we run. We don't have to rush this, then put off Paris Council election, they put off the general election. We can put it off, hold it at 2 years. Hold it at 2 years. There's things that we need to do is fix the constitution. We don't need, you and I agree, we don't need no figurehead who say them a governor general or president or what you want to call them, when nobody elect them. And they have all the powers.
In all fairness to her, still, I believe they appoint a committee because it was last night I was watching the news and I saw somebody from the opposition side who is on that committee, and he's saying, Mr. Ilton, what Ilton is name? Anthony Ilton.
Yeah.
Anthony Ilton. And he's saying that, they are very enthusiastic about what is happening, and they are moving, to create something beautiful for Jamaica. I'm paraphrasing, right? But I want to, you just say something about the Prime Minister should print pocketbook. And more you understand something, and the public out there to understand. The only thing power respect is power, right? I'm quoting Dr. John Henrik Clark. The only thing power respect is power. There's another quote that said, you cannot ask the oppressors to free the slaves or the enslaved. The enslaved are the one who must liberate themselves and in turn liberate their oppressors. I'm going to read something from the Constitution, establishment of the office and the fourth director of public prosecution, right? I'm not sure you say, these people who sit on that power, they're not going to just come out. So you're the power the director of public prosecution have. In the exercise of the powers conferred upon him by this section, the director of public prosecution shall not be subject to the direction or control of any other person or authority.
Dictatorship.
You hear that? More people to read this constitution, because this your person, whoever sits in this seat, I'm going to read it again. In the exercise of the powers conferred upon him by this section, the director of public prosecution shall not be subject to the direction or control of any other person or authority. And you see the important role this person will, the director of public prosecution. These are things that we need to go through and understand the issue of all of these things that we claim say we have a constitution, a government, but we don't know the details in this piece of document.
Exactly.
No, we are going to sit down and talk about reform, something that we don't even have the knowledge and the understanding of what it is. We can't reform something what we don't know about.
Exactly the point.
You understand? And the vast majority of the Jamaican people right now, what them a deal with is them bread and butter, So
exactly.
even talk about go print pocketbook and give them constitution. I'm gonna go tear up that and ask say, well, this can give me my want a cell phone, what I want scamming, that me want a banger. So me I say, so how we are going to engage the people consciously, because it is all good. It is all good. And me have a shout out to the people them again. It is all good that we are here on the community buzz. This is a forum that we have a discussion like this. Maybe the people don't even pay attention to social media anymore because we post these things and we don't see nobody say, boy, this is something interested. I would like to listen to the program and see what this is about, you know? And we there week in and week out, and would say to some people, what is your views? Call in, share, give an opinion. Not even that right. So to take up the responsibility to go into communities or to sit with our people and write letters to the Prime Minister, because this is how passive the people are, you know. So then can't just win election and then sit back till the next 4 years and the opposition maybe put little pressure upon them, or like what go on in the country now where, you know, the trade union them put little pressure because the people are not satisfied with their salary and how things are happening. So these are still the little stumbling block in them way that them have some people who still can organize themselves, and you see bit by bit them try phase out these things that then don't work in the interest of the people anymore. The machineries that the people organize to protect themselves. What we are observing in Jamaica right now, machinery like a trade union, you know, they have been overrun by politicians. They have been controlled by politicians now. It's not people who represent workers anymore, because most of the trade unionists them are now aligned to one or the other political party, right? So everything that they defend, them see it in their color, you know. So observing all of that, seeing the kind of dilemma that the country is in at this point, where our younger generation, because me and you are too old man, you know, we have to call ourselves old.
Yeah.
I have to know how you how much youth depend on this committee of this constitution reform. You know what I mean? We don't even know what the committee make up of. We just see some same old politician, you know. Some of them, you just talk about the godly lady who you don't have any confidence in, right? And me know a heap of you don't have no confidence in none of them. You understand? Now, what the reform is going to, and they might talk about referendum. People are going to vote on something they don't understand.
And they didn't contribute an iota. You not even say, okay, you need a dot over this I or across this T. How you going? How is that? So you know, this is why it goes back to original discussion. If we are going to do this, this is an opportune time to do it right. You know, and that's why we need to call on leaders, the leaders, those who are aspiring to be councillors or members of parliament, ministers.
But then brethren, you call upon Duns people. Some of the councillors them Duns. You ask them about the constitution, for them don't know about it.
No, because
you can't call
them 10% them are look, 10% man them, right? But what I'm just saying is that we're community organizers, people. The young man them now need to start saying, well, you know what, by the cell phone them run out after 6 months after me done scam or whatever, and we do what I do. But we want something longer than that. Is that how do we make that connection to them, to teach them to say, okay, instead of I give you a cell phone, I'm giving you a book to read, to educate yourself for life. The cell phone, you have to go change it in 6 months. Where you're going to get money for that and do that. What you learn, they can't take it out of your head. That's how we learn at school, you know. Everything we learn, they couldn't take it out of my head, even if we face it with the teachers. But what I'm just saying is that we have to get and those who are serious. And we have to call, and I know there's in a Chilean is like me and Don, most of them Duns, you know. I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, hold back my words on that. But what I'm just saying that there's enough people within the community who sit down and mull around and say and quarrel, say, boy, this not happening.
We laugh, but we laugh because it's a different program, you know. It's a different program. We don't know straight face when we hear certain things. See? This is the community buzz. And as I talk about the people who don't. You see, one of the things, you know, Patrick, you know, I'm a laugh too. I'm looking at this. No documents are not when nobody write, you know, and put on. See? And talk about order. That can determine how a man I go get him bread and butter and how a man I go feed him, picking them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because life run in certain orders. It's just man get up and try to control some other set of people and tell them some rules you have to live by. So all of these rules are created by men. You know? Now, if we are with these people who create these rules, and some of them we don't even know because some of them dead and gone, you understand? Most of the people who them call the drafters of our crafters of the Constitution, they're not even there. See? And those who are here, right, who have been trained by those old gods, want to maintain them status. You know, you think say a guy who feel proud to be called a queen counsel or a king counsel want to give up all of that when it comes to even knowing that when we don't a crown government anymore, I will not be addressed as queen counsel or king counsel, because none of these people proudly hold on to these titles and feel like and you have many more in the wings waiting, you know, to be adorned with these titles, because them believe say them reach them of these titles. So the ordinary people out there don't really think about none of these things. Them need to go in the market and them have to go find a way to sell a piece of yam or sell 2 ripe banana or sell some onion or whatever. Yeah. And they want to make a nice house and they want to sustain themselves and they want to buy a little car. And they want, most importantly, they want to feed themselves and feed them family. You see what I say?
Yeah, so, you know, and
these are the issues that we need to... Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I go back, you know, and I hope most people realize this is Patrick Beckford's big mouth opinion, not the radio station. But what I'm just saying, we have the MP, we have 2 MP, one who is speaker, under a cloud. That's how I call her, speaker under a cloud. And we have 2, and the MP, young person, one of my best friend's daughter, here, and we have councillors, even the Falmouth Council. You have aspirant to the member of parliament thing in the next election. They need to step up. They need to step up or step aside and give people who want to engage the people so that the people are empowered. This constitution is an empowerment for the people. You understand? This DPP have this unilateral power to do anything. The other day, the Prime Minister was under a cloud and the unilateral said, no, we're not going to bother with that anymore. We, the people, need to run Jamaica and set up the constitution, and people need to get off their duff and stop worrying about, whatever here, what you call it, extension and all and stuff there. Get the extension in their brain and extension and the constitution and everything.
Mm-hmm. We are going to take a little break, Mr. Beckford, and play a little piece of music and make a sip of water, and we'll come back and we'll talk some more, yeah?
All right, no problem.
Yeah. Never let the system get down. No way down. You give, so your best shot. You've got to give. Facing all.
Blessings and light. This is Imara, the musical revolutionary. You're in host and the community buzz and Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. This and every Monday at 3 p.m. From the home to the community to the wider world. Let us be the change we want to see. Join me this and every Monday at 3 p.m. on the community buzz and Fit FM 96. Your life, your music. Yes, here we are on the community buzz, and I'm with Patrick Beckford, right? Member of the Trelawney group, and he's overseas, and we are talking about constitutional reform. We want the people to tune and call in, if you have any suggestion, any views, you can text in and tell us what you would like to see happen with the Constitution, how you would like to see something new develop for us, the people, that will work in the interest of the people. And, the documents are there. I believe the Constitution is in every public library. So if you're so interested and you want to know, you can go there and you can spend a few hours and you can read upon the Constitution. If not, and you want to have a personal copy, you can go and you can buy one with a hard copy. Or if not, all we have cell phone and we have internet, if you love to read, you can just, go in and the Jamaica Constitution, see what you can pick out of it, because the Reformation is taking place as we speak, and they are planning to transform Jamaica to what we call a republic, move from under the monarchy, according to them, and they are to call a referendum. So many things are happening, and pay attention to what is happening, because this little island, all the way, have a stake in it, all the way, a part owner, we have children, we ancestors suffered and died, and we are still here. So we need to take a stand, and as we say, stand 10 feet tall. Mr. Beckford, before we're going, I'm going to chapter 3, fundamental rights and freedoms. and this is 13. Whereas every person in Jamaica is entitled to the fundamental rights and freedom of the individual. This is to say, has the right, whatever is race, place of origin, political opinions, color, creed, or sex, but subject to respect for the rights and freedom of others and for the public interest, to each and all the following, namely, A, life, liberty, security of the person, the enjoyment of property, and the protection of the law. B, freedom of conscience, of expression, and of peaceful assembly and association. C, private and family life. The subsequent provision of this chapter shall have effect for the purpose of affording protection to the aforesaid rights, subject to such limitations of that protection as are contained in those provisions, being limitations designed to ensure that the enjoyment of the rights and freedoms by any individual does not prejudice the rights and freedom of others or the public interest. There's a lot there to digest still, but let me read. Life, again, A, life, liberty, security of the person, the enjoyment of and the protection of the law. You know me, I go stop at a one year. The protection of the law. We need to pay attention to the protection of the law. Because some of the law, what them claim say, need to be protected. These laws are very oppressive laws to the people. So how can the people protect law that is not working in their interests? And if you talk to enough policemen, they're going to quote this part of it, protection of the law. We want to define which law, because if you go into any legal law dictionary, there are several things that come under law. You know what I mean? So when you say protection of law, what law you're talking about? You understand?
But you go back to the first part, liberty. What's the meaning of the word liberty? It's that you're free to do things legally. So you're free to go visit somebody at any time if that person wants to accommodate you. You know, so you put stringent measures against the Constitution in doing simple things like that. A person want to go hang out with them friends, because I usually got beat till 3 o'clock a morning when they're farm at a half one day or Burwood. So no, I can't do that. You know, so that's a liberty, what it is. And here's what happened.
Well on. You what liberty mean? Liberty, freedom from arbitrary or undue external restraints by a government. That is liberty, you know.
Exactly.
Listen, it is liberty, freedom from arbitrary or undue external restraints, especially by government, to a right, privilege, or immunity enjoyed by prescription of or by grant, the absence of legal duty imposed on a person.
Exactly.
So the government should not infringe upon my liberty.
And I remember I listened to, I think I was maybe on the station, but I listened to a lady who was crying about her son who was due to go to UWI. That scholarship was working to help out his mother. And the police say, boy, see him go and pick up him thing at the ATM. He had so many keys on him and his ID, yet he was locked away for 6 months and released somewhere in Jamaica by the police and the government, which I won't even say the police, it's not it's the government, because they're acting on behalf of the government. Pick up 6 months, the guy, since he come back, the lady was saying at 2 times he attempted suicide. Where is the liberty for somebody like that? And the thing in there, it's not equal application in the law in Jamaica, because there's a law application for those uptown and for those in the ghetto or locally. The two different things, because you don't see none of those people with certain from certain sectors are being harassed or tucked away for 6 months, and the mother and father don't know where they are, or the girlfriend don't know where they are, and then little more than come back, they were locked away. So this whole liberty, all these things, these people go and form this committee and change up the constitution. None of their children or nobody for them not get through all these things. So that is, they don't even talk some nice legalistic language and and blah blah blah, and they write down thing and it sounds pretty, and they do their thing and they pat themselves on the shoulder, boy, we do good, and whoo, we're educated, so we do good. When the man in the street, it doesn't address his liberty, it doesn't address his freedom, it doesn't address his hope and the law protecting him to aspire to be what he wants to be legally in the country, because them not busy with them. You understand? Them have to suit whoever and everything. So that is the whole need for us, the people of Jamaica, because right now there's plans afoot in the diaspora where we're going to set up different committees all over to look at different aspects. Some people might be interested in one area, blah, 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 and put it together and say to the government, this is what we as people from in the diaspora and everything. We might not agree on some things, but we should be able to make presentation. And likewise, it's needed in Jamaica. And just to give a shout out to FIT, because you guys are, that's why my radar stuck on forever, even when I drive around. But the reason why is that our people here who are listening, they need to get involved. They need to support entities like FIT, who is bringing the community together. And we can just sit down and ray, and then and take pictures about, and we just have a fundraiser and we'll send to Barrel and so go distribute 1 hour, feed up Arms House or wherever and everything. We need action. And so the action now is for us to get involved in making sure that our voices from the man who lived on a compound in a farm, but to the man who live in a wire fence, to those who live in a Duncan, a Tap Hill, in a Clarkstown, or Jacksontown, or Brampton, or Calabar, or wherever in Trelawny. We usually love go to Low River and wire fence and go eat some good fresh yam and all that stuff there. All these people need to be a part and need to feel empowered that their voices and their views will be heard and will be entrenched in the new constitution. Not
all
this.
Right. All right, you just talk about bigging up FIT FM. We are also smallcasting and primal media, and people are online. Llewellyn said we asked a question earlier about why our people are so. I believe Llewellyn, Saint Nicholas is answering here. He said indoctrination is the cause of our passive nature, and I agree with that. And he further said civics need to be put back in our school plan, right? And DJ Gaddafi said different roles and skills. DJ Gaddafi again. Do you want a carpenter to fly your plane just because he is one of the people? These are some questions. You see what I say? So when we there on the community buzz, people from all over are tuning in. The sad thing is that some of the people them with their Jamaica next door, and right here in Trelawny, them just lock. I don't know what they do right now. See, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, you're going to get up tomorrow morning, and when the politician is going and do something, the only thing we can do is go up and road, go black out and talk about we want justice. I black card and stand up on roadside and burn tire and black road with old junk and old car and say we want justice. That's all we know how to do. You
Because
can't
they've
want
been used.
justice if you don't know justice for yourself. If
Exactly
you not
what it is.
participate to create
But
a system that will justify you. You know?
wait,
How you
wait,
going
wait.
to get justice if you, yeah.
Yeah, let me say something to the brother who talk about a carpenter flying a plane. What is buzzing my head is thinking, said, well, no lawyer can write constitution. But guess what happened? You go back to the Bible, because Jamaican said the
No, he
Bible.
never said that. Say that.
Eh?
He never said non-law.
No. I'm just saying.
Ask God.
What he said
He
is
said,
that
"Do you want a carpenter to fly your plane?" Just hear the question.
Mm-hmm.
One, because he is one of the people. That's what.
Right, but here's what happened. The carpenter have to find a hatch for the plane, build the hatch for the plane to taxi into. So everybody have their part, and so he can take and say, okay, I'm going to build a different hatch. The pilot can say, well, I'm going to fly at this altitude and everything, because together it's not about a plane only, but it's about a universal thing, a country. So everybody looking at things differently. The carpenter might say, boy, our building codes are archaic, and boy, we're using electric drill and everything. So we have to put that entrench in the Constitution, so to speak. So it's not that we're going to say, well, for the Constitution to be built, it has to be built by people who know law. Because the United States Constitution, which everybody look at, wasn't built by a bunch of lawyers. A lot of these people weren't lawyers, you understand? But they write what they think would work best for the country, for we the people. And that is what we need to do. There's a lot of things that if we start to look and say, how many would I like to see, for example, with Ziggy Marley thing, how many would like to see we make something entrenched in the Constitution about the beaches in Jamaica, where 90% of the people them can't go unless they find $1,000 or $5,000 for go some beach, or you're not your skin tone not right.
Please go back. Hold on. No, this is about. That's why I said earlier on that this piece of document, right, is a farce on value. Why I say it not have no value is because people who are in leap violate everything that is written into this. For instance, we are talking about the fundamental rights and freedom. Section 14. No person shall intentionally be deprived of his protection, life, save in the execution of the sentence of the court in respect of a criminal offense of which he has been convicted. But listen this, too. Without prejudice or to any liability for the contravention of any other law which, with respect to the use of force in such cases as are hereinafter mentioned, a person shall not be regarded as having been deprived of his life in contravention of this section if he dies as the result of the use of force to such extent as is reasonably justifiable in the circumstances of the case. So them can kill you, and say, this is one of the reasons. I will see it happening in Jamaica all the while. You understand? Yeah. We see it happening in Jamaica all the while. Most recently, we see people all dead in a people's house, and they don't even sleep at jail one time, one night. Them just sick, and nobody even know what kind of sickness them have. You understand? So when we look on these things, and we have to, what these things, Patrick, if we are going to talk about constitutional reform, we need a broader discussion. We need more public forums, to have dialogue around this thing. We can't just sit back and we just come and community buzz, and just run up and out. We need to be active participants in the whole process. We have
and
to engage
organize, you know.
because right now most people depend on social media. And recently I was watching, you know, on what they call it, PBCJ. This where them do some live streaming about things that is happening in Parliament, and this podcast was about the Integrity Commission. And I was looking on the feed, and it's about 42 people on the feed live. You understand? And most are who making comment. You realize that they are politically aligned. People are cussing. I'm Greg Christie. You have to go, you know what I mean? Then do everyone listen kind of argument. Them just don't like him because he brought up something, and not even him, but the commissioner, you know, the integrity can come up with some findings, and however they went about it the wrong way, right? Based upon how the law is constructed as well, because all that whole system needs to change up, and that is what they are talking about. They're going to reform it and amend enough of a lot of the acts in that commissioner, you know, Integrity Commission Act. So
yeah,
we see some people, we don't know if are incompetent them income or not, but it causes that song in a parliament, and you pass these things, and then you have problem with it to implement the rules that you put in place. You know, who is there to take responsibility? I am saying, but Mr. Beckford, when you have the people who are not politically literate, who are unwilling to even read for themselves, to search out things for themselves and depend upon other people to do it for them, they insist to the system, you know? So, as me say, you and I, as elders, and how much are we youth then we are talking to? Are we talking to our children about the things that is going to happen to them the next 4 or the next 5 years, the next 15 or the next 20 years?
A lot of things, you know.
Are they really paying attention? And the same system that train them are trained those who are in power and behaving so, I don't even want to use that word. Yeah. Same system that train those who are in power, who are behaving in a way that aren't too justified for us to live as a people. When you send them in the same institution, look at the same training, where we going to expect the change to come from? That is what I'm asking. How the change is going to come about? Everybody, we're complaining about the people who are in power now, and they are behaving according to the training or the indoctrination according to Llewellyn a while ago. They are behaving according to the indoctrination that they have received. Yeah, if we continue with that same system, what can we expect of it?
Yeah. And we have an opportunity right now to let our voices, collective voices, be heard. Hey, this committee is not the right way. We think there's a better approach where we the people. But like you said, most people, you know, if you say something and they disagree, some of them are trained puppets where they go to certain place and they cut and paste and put it under their name because them get the money for buy a food or a lunchbox or whatever, and they spend days, and when a certain time they get off because the time finished, and you and I as taxpayers in Jamaica are paying for that because politicians are getting cut off at whatever project them working on and pay these people so them get a job for return, fill patrol and everything, and all them do go up on computer and cut and paste, and everybody say ray and all that stuff. And when you challenge them, you realize that, you know, you're wasting your brain cell of try to debate and to educate them. So you know, we have to go back and we have to just continue to appeal We have a forum in New York in May. I won't call the name, but I think that's an opportunity where some of these politicians come every year for the Trelawney reunion. They want to set up some luncheon with certain people to talk about what? The most important thing, and I'm saying to them, talk about the constitutional change at Jamaica. So when whoever go back, dunce or not dunce, they have something on paper and can record and say, this is what the people of the diaspora from Trelawney, when they have the Trelawney weekend, it's normally 10,000 people show up to the weekend. You understand? So we can...
When Trelawney, Mr. Bedford, when the Trelawney group were organized and come to Falmouth rather than the people come, when it's in the near future, we can look for say, yes, the diaspora will come down and we even sit down in one of them community center and we have a whole heap of church about the place where we open up the door to I, that we can sit and have a face-to-face discussion. How soon we can organize that people rather kind of people can.
That being said, no, and I understand. That being said, that's something that you have planned something in my head on a thing, because to be very candid, those who are in leadership, because although I'm one of the founders of the whole thing, I take a step back because I see it go in certain directions and I don't have the energy to do that. I'd rather stay from where I am and support causes that I can support in Jamaica in a positive way, in whatever way. I mean, even though I still encourage them and I still talk to them and still try to tell them this is not where having the thing is great. But what are the substantive things that you are turning back to Trelawney? I stopped doing the one-off thing. Said, you give a man a fish, you have to feed him every day. You teach him to fish, you feed him for life. And that's basic philosophy that we in the diaspora and the diaspora movement, and I've been preaching that for a lot of times, to change the trajectory, how we engage back home, not just giving or become the philanthropy class of Jamaica, but our philanthropy does not necessarily mean it have to be materialistic, but we can educate and get people to teach them how to get engaged, because that's what a lot of us are doing, here. So that's a positive thing. But you and I can talk about that and re-engagement back home. I know a lot of people who are more than interested that we could come and set up something like that, have some forums, maybe two or three different places. It's a start, because the song said it only takes a spark to get a fire going. And I hope this spark that in the discussion today is going to get open people's mind to say, for them to, especially the loudmouth one from New Jersey, talk about and say it makes some sense. So I know the discussion light a fire in some people's, butt, so to speak, so they can get up and start move,
We have a bounce piece of music again and come forward, and then we take it to the final segment of the show. So we still have to say to the people, you can call in and and I send in a text 876-478-9144. This is
and I share with you when we come back.
The musical revolutionary. We are small casting and Primal Media, www.primal4k.com. Yes. And it is Fit FM, www.fitfmja.com. We're worldwide.
These are the days beyond. Drink it. Well, Satan, I know you must get defeat. We've been Just take heed and listen to the emperor.
Listen, 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 listen.
Just take heed and listen to the lawgiver. Put on your armor and shield and prepare for the battlefield. The prices keep rising and baby mother cry, but though she cry. The fire keep burning and blood keep on ring. But weeping and wailing, and weeping and a mourning, weeping and a mourning. A revelation is a revelation. No more weeping. No more wailing. Famine on the land, pestilence, iniquity are working in other places. Famine, famine, pestilence, iniquity are working.
Yes. It's revelation time, you know. Iniquity are working in high places and what? Famine upon the land. Famine. You know what I mean? And we are say it's revelation time. We have to keep that in our mind, and we must bear that in our minds. We are in for a change in the world, yeah. And the change in Jamaica, you know, we need to pay attention. There are so many things happening, and the people are not participating in what is taking place and how many things that are affecting their lives. You know what I mean? And we are here talking about constitutional reform. It's a big topic. You know, and there are some people in New York, tri-state area, we want big one up, you know, for tuning in. And them a big up Patrick Beckford too. DL, mess up yourself, DL, in the tri-state. You know, we're happy that you're tuning in. And see, so Mr. Beckford, Mr. Beckford.
You see, I tell her it's not cold, it's warm. That's why we're so hot.
Okay. So,
yeah, yes,
discussion
from
activity how it is. May I go ask the question away? How loud it is in the Trelawney group there, you know, the Friends of Trelawney group? What kind of discussion? You're meeting and having meeting and discussion about this thing, or you're just the one who blaze a fire? I just want to know if there's a
no, within my when I talk with discussions with folks in groups, not with the association as such, because their meeting is just like one of the things that I can't be bothered with the organization that sound like goat and sheep. Yeah. When it's a vote on this, yeah. I need substantive discussions where people look at the Constitution, look at things in Trelawney, since they're Trelawney centric, and have deep discussions. How do we move the parish? How do we move the country forward? And so, but it goes back to people just concentrating on, okay, we raise around $500 and we go do X, Y, Z. Nothing long term. For the guy, the $500 finished by the time you reach an airport. It finished. So how do you do things in a way that changes what is happening in the parish, what is happening in this country, in particular in this with regard to the whole Constitution? So, I mean, while, you know, I'm otherwise engaged, because as a Jamaican now and somebody who's known in certain circles now, I have to go and represent, not myself, but when another Jamaican come, they will embrace him or her in certain sectors that we have not foray into, in a sense. So that as I'm gonna embrace your word of us, Imara, as an elder. Hope some people not listening and are gonna use it against us. As elders, we have to now think about who's behind us, how we can bring them up and to bring them in the diaspora, in the community, into certain segments and leadership. So that when you're in leadership, you can transfer some things back to your home, whether your home or your home country or your neighborhood, so to speak. So that's one of the things. The thing that I know, I'm not brushing it, they're having a little discussions, but it's just discussions. We need action, not a lot of talk and everything. So we need the people to act. You know, so a big part of it is like when we have the picnic, we probably meet in groups and says, okay, let's try to change everything. And one of the things is, for me, I hope is to engage people on the Constitution and the idea that they brought about getting the pocket books of the Constitution. I'm probably even going to have to try to see if I could organize printing some and distributing as much as I can to people with it who turn up at the picnic this year to say, hey, here's what we're looking at changes. Start to read it and make some contribution and, you know, discuss it among yourselves. You know, so that is basically the aim to do it, you know, since we have this discussion, you know, and, you know, because we talk about it all the time among ourselves when you sit down and you're lime, go ahead.
As I said earlier on, you know, there are some people in Jamaica who is doing quite well. Quite well. And this thing already I talk about don't mean one thing to them. You
right.
get what I say? So
because
these are some things you have to pay attention to, you know.
They have them place at the table and the people.
Not just even them place at the table. You know, I am saying, even the crafters and the drafters of this, to sit down here and discuss, it's not nothing to them. The only things to them, it is that they created a piece of document to keep some people in check. That's all it is. It's just like, it's one of the things that we don't even understand about law. Who are the lawmakers?
Yep.
The people who make something mainly to protect.
Yeah,
and they are protecting it from some people who then believe is a threat to what them have.
Yeah, self-preservation.
Aye. So them will take away so many things from the people and then them put some clause and some act in place that is going to protect them from those people. And we see these things happen in the Morant Bay uprising. After the Morant Bay uprising, we see, you know, all of these rules and laws implemented, you know. So we have to pay attention. We must also remember the transatlantic slave trade, you know, where a lot of our national heroes right now are still criminals. You know, they are on the book as criminals, right? Because they rose up against the authority, you know, and that is one of the things that when we are talking about constitutional reform and when we look and see the people who are at the head of this thing, we have how much it is.
You know, and I give you a piece of history. A piece of history about Trelawney. Because, you know, we have everybody talk about the first industrial strike in Jamaica was 1938. And believe it or not, the first industrial strike in Jamaica was 1936 on the Falmouth Wharf. Right? And that changed the whole thing. And history avoid that and, you know, write about it and everything. As a matter of fact, as a college student, I was privileged to interview some of the actors in it live and direct and get their verbatim, their take on it. A lot of us were surprised.
We're until now, we don't know.
Yeah, so
you can repeat what you said a while ago.
What I'm saying is that I said Trelawney has always been a leader in history. Even like the industrial strike, which I talk about in 1938, And I did a research on it as a student at in college, and the commission in Trelawney had asked me to, because I love history, to look about to read about the industrial strike that was happening at Hamden Wharf. Now all of that is to the cruise pier. But that was the first industrial action in Jamaica by the stevedores, the ship, all those people was loading the sugar and the ships as they come in 1938, and that was the first organized labor strike.
You're breaking up.
No, I said that was the first organized strike in Jamaica in 1936. 1938 wasn't the first one, but I'm just saying that to say that because Trelawney is such a revolutionary parish, you know, and that's documented. I think that I'd sent deposited at the Falmouth Library, but the Heroes Day committee, I think I did it in 1978. I think I got to check. I did it for my club that at time it was entrenched in their magazine. The piece I wrote, and I actually spoke with about 3 or 4 guys who were living at the time who were participants and leaders in that thing. So I'm just saying that to say, because it's nothing new for us to be revolutionary in Trelawney, because this is your nature. So I'm thinking that this forum and Fit FM today going to be the catalyst that we get a lot of people to start thinking, because a lot of people don't know about the constitutional change and what it is because of everything. But everybody think, you know, okay, yeah, we're going to do like Barbados and have a figurehead as head of the state, and that figurehead going to collect enough money and the people don't elect him or her. Because the government will say, well, okay, we're in charge, so we will nominate for a man and make him eat a food and get up and down. And the people need to do it. You know, one of the things I just telling you some of the things that I think, why do we need a country where a prime minister can come and nominate 20 people and 19 people in cabinet? Why we don't entrench that in the cabinet, just like probably the United States Constitution, where only 15 or so departments are the president can happen? Why do we need a parish council with so much people in it when we have spent a lot of taxpayer money doing that? You know, get rid of that. Have a county. You know, for example, these are things that we need to look at, how we can make government lean, mean, and be responsive to the people. You know, not to some figurehead or anything. Do we need a prime minister? No, we need a president and vice president. People then vote for that.
From primary media. It's like what the problem is, unaffected. So it is like the problem does exist. That's what she's saying, and it's a fact. Most of them don't even understand politics. The only thing them understand about politics, election time come round, it's time for them go vote, and them love them leader, and them love them party, and them a show off a life, and them a power for life, or them a socialist, or them a PMP for life. That is the kind of culture we have in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. So once that kind of culture entrenched in the psyche of the people, there's so much we can do to change that mindset. I believe we have to look to the next generation, and those of us who are serious and want some change to happen, you know, we have to really go make that kind of devotion to give some kind of service, you know, to enlighten our people about what is, because a lot of them don't even know what is happening now, much less what happened 40 years ago, because none of these in the curriculum for them to even do no research, you know, exactly. And then pack up them head with so much subject that them have to go past, seeing that them don't even have time to pay attention to issues that affected their foreparents, affected their mother, affected their father, and even affecting them today. Them not have no time for
And
even
the
pay
future.
attention. Them
Right.
just caught up. They're caught up into a new world, a technological world that they don't even understand. They are just entertaining themselves, you know, on these platforms, you know. So we have to pay attention seriously to all of the things that are distracting our people. All the things that are distracting our people. We must pay attention to it. And
Yep,
a lot of our people are talking about we are in the age of artificial intelligence, you know, our intelligence. We have to look at it and see the kind of impact that it is having on the stuff of our people.
and one of the
This
things
is
is
going to come easier,
one of
or
the
we are
thing-
just
one of-
more.
one of the things, Mara, that I think we have, and I call them, I coined a phrase, we have a microwave generation, because everything they need is instant fix. You know, so you put the food inside a microwave for 2 minutes and boom, and it's hot and it's ready and you burp. You understand? That's the type of mentality that we have. I mean, especially, I mean, about certain segment in our country. And I know if we, you know, get some wood or get some coal and fan the wood and everything, and we take them time and make the banana cook and the yam cook and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm just saying is that we have to get that microwave mentality out of the minds of the people, where they realize that everything just don't come within short order. We have to work, and so we have to work to fix the Constitution. These guys that who make the microwave, or the microwave committee they have, it's not about that. It's about finish it and then go it and then go have press conference and everybody stand up and them in them tie, you know, stroke them and women in a whatever and everything and the pretty talk, and when they're done and going and they go sit down and want a Pegasus or somewhere go drink and ray and knock glass and say, well, we did good. And then a man in the street end up getting shafted. Him right saying lock him up for more days because him not relying to the right people. People can't go to the beach. You can't challenge the police when they misbehave in the thing. You can't impeach your head of country, even when they do it. There's so many little things that I think that make good governance that people I think and know about, read about, and would like to see that. Oh, this happening in India. Oh, this happening in Israel. Oh, this happening in New Jersey. Oh, this happening. We can make it happen. We know a lot of things that we see that we admire. Put it in our own Jamaican context. Jamaicanize it and make Jamaica become the symbol of how when people come together and put their governance together, this is what we can work. And you're going to have, sometimes we might have to tinker it a little bit now and then, you know. But at this one, and you don't tinker, we need to turn over the pot and wash it out and use, what you call it, steel pot and shine over the pot of the country. It's a constitution. You know,
La Patia, the food in La Patia no good. Right now, the
Exactly.
Patia need for just kick off of the fire and dash away.
Yeah, too much people get what you call it, slow poison. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Beckford, we give thanks for your contribution, you know, on this issue. It is a serious issue, and we need to peruse it some more. We need to, you know, pay attention. Those of us who can read, and if we can't even read, we find some people with legal minds who is on the side of the people, you know, because that is one of it too. And all of the people them out there have negative. Enough of them realize what them did and want to make
Exactly.
a change, you know.
And some company can sponsor it.
So what you are saying, Mr. Beckford?
I'm just saying that I'm going
We
to
are
put
out
out
of time.
challenge to some company.
Brian?
I'm going to put a challenge to some of the companies who advertise. Put on them label and get the Constitution out in people's pocket. It's in their interest as much as the people and the country overall will move forward in a positive way if we do that. But, you know, shout out to all accounts and as usual, by Fit FM and your partner. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to do that, and I hope people take this to heart and challenge them, Parson and all them PTA president and everybody say, make we get something going, So
blessings.
All right, my elder brother.
Thank you for this invaluable contribution. I want to talk to you again, and yes, stay in New Jersey and stay warm, Blessings and community buzz. And this is Imara, the musical revolutionary. We give thanks to the people who tune in, on www.fitfmja.com and primalmedia.com. We give thanks to those who listen on the FM band, Fit FM 96.7. We know it go a long time, a whole heap of people still listen, and enough people good. They say, boy, me I hear, I want to big up John, John is a man who always tune in to Fit FM. Big up yourself, John. We need to talk a long time. We don't meet up around a pubs and drink 2 beer and what a vibration. See? So bless up yourself, John, and all the other people who tune in, you know what I mean? So we soon talk and we soon meet up, and we have serious issues. Mr. Meadows, we need to talk to you. If you are listening, somebody pass on a message. We need to talk to you because this is something serious, and you is an aspirant pertaining to getting into power. We need to talk to the MP too, and we need to talk to all the councillors, them, who, and aspirants. Curtis Trelawney radio station. Well, I want to support the thing. Me, I go talk strong. I want to support the radio station. Be a part of it. This is a medium that you can express your views and your points and help to use it to engage the people. This is a medium that we have been longing for years. Now you have it. And utilize it. You're not working with it. What is wrong? What is wrong with our people? Get up for your right and make a choice, and to see where you want to take your life. Be the change that you want to see in your life, in your home, in your community, in your country, and by extension to the world. This is Imara, the musical revolutionary, for another community buzz. Well, then say, we don't know if we're going there next strong because next strong, a holiday. But we will link up the strong. Blessings and light. This is Imara, the musical revolution. Your host on Fit FM